Hello, sports fans. Yeah, got to play with his audio switches and settings and all that shit. I'm learning this, so today's February 20th, 2022. Uh, yeah, the weather got real cold here in El Paso, Texas, and then warmed up like it was 75 today. I'm working on my car in the backyard, a '68 Cadillac. It's trash, but that was me and my son's car. So he died, and I'm just trying to keep the memory going. I'm 72, really got nothing else to do. Uh, yeah, it was a pretty busy week here. I was just watching. I'm staying home for a month. This is the most money I made this last 2 years. Usually, I got about 500 or 600 bucks at this time of year. I got 4 grand right now, which the truck's gonna, I need two tires. Price of tires going up. There goes a grand. Tractor, tractor, tractor tires. And then groceries, I start buying a little equipment for the car. You know, dial indicators and micrometers and shit like that. 50 bucks here, 50 bucks there. Shit goes. And groceries and all. Just trying to relax. It's so stressful out there driving a truck, and like everybody's. No offense, but these people don't know how to drive. I've been driving for forever, but I just relaxing. I got uh, part of my left part of my brain's telling me I'll go back to work. Or you lazy bum. I'm working all my life. I haven't had a vacation for 50 fucking years. I'm just taking it easy. My body's like my knees are killing me. Just rest. You got to rest. Without going to the hospital. That's a whole fucking deal in itself. I can't afford that shit. Uh, just rest up, and then I found some real good. I was looking at like Megan Kelly. She got this Dr. Fisher on there. She's 75, man, full of energy and good looking, good looking woman. But she just got married. She had two 20-year relationships, and starts. They were talking about the mind, the different parts of the brain, and all. They do studies on this shit. I find it fascinating. That's what I was trying to. Nobody. It's hard to find somebody to talk about this shit because, first of all, you got to do a little homework to know what you're talking about. I fucked up. I was an alcoholic. I should be a doctor or something. But the older I get, you're supposed to be wise. It's like my dad. He only went to the eighth grade. He was a millionaire, had 7 rental houses, a house in El Paso, a real nice house, and then one down in Mexico. Went up to Canada, went down to Mexico, all over the United States, raised 4 kids, sent them all to college, whatnot. Just a lot of it's common sense, but I'm looking too that where some of the older people, I keep hitting like the remote on this YouTube. I bounce around. There's so many interesting uh, documentaries. We went back to the JFK documentary. I listened to Michael Franzese just made some comments on that. Kind of straightened me out. What I've been looking for since '63. I was like 14, and he says they were in on it, and then going to the next level, you got to go up a couple of levels, which a lot of people are not tuned in with. I notice, and I find stuff once in a while. It's like a needle in a haystack almost. KGB. I'm going back 70 fucking years, man. the Secret Service in the United States for Eisenhower. That was back up to about 1953, and then they changed it. They changed it to the CIA, and also when the Hitler got defeated after World War II, with a bunch of Nazi scientists got brought over, and they made them American citizens, and they put them in the CIA. So that's back around 40. I'm going to say, I don't know exactly. I'm saying about 1945 to 1950, something like that. I love it when Trump became president because he's not a fucking politician. I listened to 10 of these people from Congress, and they got the little, not the $99 suits, but it's not John Gotti either. They don't have, God bless them, what they believe in. But I think that they're there after a while, and they're making all this money, and then access to that you're never going to hear about. It's finally come out. Nancy Pelosi made more money on the stock market with insider trading. Her and her husband, 30 million, 35 million. So there, she brought up, she says, well, she don't believe that they should be able to, they brought it up. But I listen to these guys, they like to be on TV, on television, and they like to talk. And we used to all in the 70s, they throw around them $20 college words, 5 syllables, 4 syllables, 5 syllables, try to make themselves look, well, they're educated, not necessarily intelligent. and I don't think, I never paid attention to politics, but I don't think if you got 4 years of college, and then I'm looking at some of these Fox reporters and whatnot, they've been on, the good-looking girls, they look like they're 25-ish, maybe up to 30, but they're dressed real nice, they look cute and all this, but I'm listening to the content of the reports they make, and what has happened? And they shift it off to the partners, sitting 4 or 5 of them. What do you think about that? And it's the level. My dad used to get into this heavy shit that I really wasn't interested back then when I was a teenager. But as I got older, I'm asking him and my mother questions. They both lived to be 100. They died back in 2008 and 2005, I think. Or 2012 and 2005, yeah. So anyhow, my dad went to the kitchen. He had a map of the world, and he would say something to me, and he'd say, well, in the world, okay, now I started looking up. I was looking at India, China and India over there by Tibet, where Mount Everest is. That's a godforsaken place with a mountain, like 25,000 foot Mount Everest, something like that. I mean, it's some serious. It ain't an American site out in the Midwest. It's now these people have been there. America's what 200 and the bicentennial was back in '77. Well, it was 50 years ago already. I got drunk that day. Man, I passed out. The tall ships and all that shit. But the civilizations over there, no, they don't speak English, but they do have access. But the people that have been tribes and all that, and some like lost tribes they found in South America, whatnot, these people have just been living, one family, next generation, for thousands of years. So they know how to, get syrup out of a tree or use the bark or the wood, just real simple stuff. Uh, the Industrial Revolution, I guess it was 1920s in this country. And then everybody wants to be like America for the longest, all my life. And I noticed too some of the people in China. And then I was looking at a couple of couples going to the grocery store in Russia, and they speak broken English, but hell, you can understand them. And the guy's pointing out the prices of different, spaghetti and coffee and whatnot. And I'm saying, hell, the prices are probably a little cheaper in Russia. You know, I was making a joke about a year ago. It says, hey, I made a joke. I've been broke all my life, but I says, all these people trying to come in from Mexico about 10, 15, 20 years ago. I said, I'm trying to get into Mexico. It used to be cheap. But then I started price checking, and the prices are up. They all want to be like America. And that drug thing, the cartel in the last year, since Biden opened the borders, is to bringing in the meth and the fentanyl. They've made billions of dollars. Well, back in the 60s, I live in El Paso, and Juarez, Mexico is like 5 miles from my house. But you go over there back in the 60s and you could get a 3X's can of beer for a quarter. They didn't check ID. We're 14, we're over there. And pot was, I think it was a kilo for back in the 60s in the Vietnam War. It was, I think it was like $60. I mean, how much pot can you smoke? How much can you drink? Just a buck or two, you get $5, you kill yourself. Let's put it like that. you know, let's talk about inflation. Oh Lord. And then I was looking at the Kennedy assassination, where you got some of it. There was some guys old as in the 70s, 80s, and this guy is 90 years old. They were on it since it happened back in '63, and some of it they can't prove, but a theory on conspiracy. I got locked up when I was 14 on Fort Bliss. My buddy had a girlfriend. He was from England, and she said this guy that lived behind her said some shit to her on the school bus one day. So we went over there. He was going to kick his ass. So I'm not really thinking. I went with my buddy. Went over to Fort Bliss. He wanted to see his girlfriend. So we went over there one night during the week, and she told him that shit. He just the kid was living in a house right behind him, and we went over there. I just followed him. So the kid comes to the door. The guy's like, hey, I forget the guy's name, and the kid come out. We're all like 14. He come out, and my buddy opened the door and went inside, punched him a few times. I followed him in. He's got his brother there. I follow him in, and then he hit him a couple of times and came back out. He said, "Don't ever say nothing to my girlfriend again." Some shit, And come out. There was a dance on Fort Bliss. That's a federal property. We went to the dance there. We just started a band, so we want to go hear some music or whatever. Friday night, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday when we went over there. And Friday night there's a dance, so we went up to the dance, and here comes the provost marshal. Stopped us. Are you guys so and so? And man, I forget what if they took us into the provost office or something. And you went on into this guy's house, and we had to go to court downtown El Paso. There's a federal court building. So blah blah blah. We run this shit. The three of us, the girl, buddy Mike, and me. And the judge, blah blah blah. I don't know shit, man. But he says 1 year probation. It was. They said it guilty of conspiracy to assault. I had to go home look it up in the dictionary. What the fuck does conspiracy mean? You know, two or more people involved in committing a crime. So anyhow, that's how I learned that word. But I'm looking at the federal government and the FBI and the CIA. I hear on the Fox News sometimes with it started with Hillary. I was looking at Ronald Reagan back in the 40s, and he had friends in the Department of Justice, DOJ. I very seldom hear about anything about the Department of Justice. I got an idea. I think it's a smaller building in Washington. It's like a small White House or a 6-story, 8-story building, something like that. A white, whatever. The CIA, the Pentagon. Never hear nothing about the Pentagon right now. It's with the war is starting to. Oh well, the advisor from the Pentagon, the secretary. The CIA, never hear nothing about that shit. You go on the Kennedy assassination, and it's runs down where Oswald was an asset or an agent. With the higher ups recruited him, blah blah blah. They were trying to get rid of Castro. It gets so friggin' involved, and indoctrination. Oswald was in the Marine Corps. I guess he wasn't that intelligent. Or he didn't see, or the CIA is more intelligent, and they set him up. I didn't go into the service. My two brothers were. My older brother was the middle brother died in a plane crash in the Navy, but my older brother, I got, he's got college and he's 18 years older than me. But if I would get into asking questions about the higher ups, intelligentsia, I kind of he didn't have nothing to say. So what I'm saying is a lot of guys can be, you go into services, you believing that you're a patriot, but yet you're with a draft, you're forced into it basically. And then I guess you got to do something, but you're indoctrinated to become a patriot, whatever the government tells you. Now, you're getting paid because I was on the streets and whatnot. I never got paid I used to hitchhike and I started panhandling, bumming money, and people would maybe take you into the house or feed you or something like that, get you drunk. But my buddy was a Vietnam veteran, and we started talking some shit, and he says, I said, hey, remember one thing, Randy. I said, you were getting a paycheck every month. 3 square meals and 3 hots and a cot. You got a place to live. Uniform, you're clean as a whistle. You got buddies. They used to fix up their cars here in Fort Bliss back in the 60s. Got access to the, forget what they call it, to the garage, mechanics garage and all that. And then they'll pay for your college, down payment for a house, et cetera, et cetera. So the guys, my dad used to run me down about being in New York and fucking up and all that. And I challenged him when he was 100. I said, let's say you go to New York without nothing. Leave your money. He already had $1 million. Leave your money here in the bank. I just want to see, can you go to New York City? And if you're still alive in five fucking years, I said, I'll tip my hat to you. It's savage. I'm in this old 1927 house, as you can see. It's kind of beat up and all needs a paint job, and I'm trying to fix it up. But uh, I got a place to, I got a house. I'm in a house. But and I try to remind myself to stay humble, be humble. Anyhow, so what I'm saying is, when you're looking at this, what's going on, I'm looking at these guys, but I keep getting this. Same way with the protests in Ottawa with the politicians. Blah 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 blah. What do they got? Tunnel vision or something in the office? It can can you talk down, and the politicians are disconnected from the working class people, the everyday people. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? You know, boom, boom, boom. I'm going to get whatever, usually at the truck stop or something. And if people speak English, they're, how you doing? Man, it's cold out there. Oh, it's hot out. It's hot today, or whatever. You know, depending where I'm at, and explaining. Just have a. It's not really a conversation. Sometimes you're lucky if you get a conversation, but once in a while, like I was up in Illinois last summer, and this guy come over banging on the door, like parked next to me. He was about 35, 40, and we're talking. I got my rims or by the lug nuts on the front on the steer tire. When it's raining and shit, you get little streaks that are coming down. I got new rims and everything. I'm in compliance, but there's just a little rusty streak. I think it's from the water. The lug nuts are 450-pound torque. Anyhow, the guy's banging on my fucking door like it's the end of the world. Hey, man, come here. I jump out. He looked like a regular guy. Grabbed my cigarettes. He says, "Hey, your lug nuts are ready to come off. They're getting loose because of that." I got a '99 Freightliner. It's old, beat up. It's running, okay, and that's for a lot of DOT officers too. A lot of them now is they're right out the military, and they go by the book, and it's like they know enough. They know the difference between a rust spot, which is a trucker should know that or have enough experience, probably 2 or 3, 4 years, or 1 year, or a couple of tire changes later. You know, I mean, I'm not. I had aluminum rims. You polish them up. I didn't have the money. You can pay a guy to do that, $10. I'm tired. By the time I'm done, I'm tired. I don't feel like putting tire black. I'm not going to a show truck, a truck show. Uh, I started out. I got the truck out of the dealership, and it was all spiffy, but they got their own truck wash, motor wash. They clean it up real quick and all that. But otherwise, when you get out in the real world, you got to pay for that yourself. I'm looking at the Ottawa protests where Trudeau, an elitist, man, you could see it with his attitude and everything else. Now, when I'm looking at that, I said, let me see this guy. I heard about him. That his dad was, I guess, a prime minister. Then it said Margaret Trudeau, Trudeau's mother. She was like an old hippie, kind of sexy, pretty sexy. But his father was looked like real conservative, kind of uppity type guy, older than the mother. But I was looking, where does this attitude come from? And like they said, I looked at one clip on YouTube there that said that the Parliament, it was the Canadian Parliament, and one or two would get up, talk to the Speaker of the House or whatever. Mr. Speaker, this is what's going on. We don't believe this and that, and they were totally like opposite or opposed to what young Trudeau, young attitude man, was talking about. So I would flip back to the protest, the truckers' protest. Now, I go back to the Vietnam War, the protest. Let's bring up Kent State, where they went to the University of Ohio, and the National Guard opened up, killed about 4 or 5 students, just basically point blank, maybe 10, 20 feet away with rifles or whatever they had. Let's talk about that. Or let's remember the government has a lot of power. I'm looking at Putin, and he got warships, nuclear weapons, regular tanks, army troops. Never mind all that. I'm looking. I says, "Oh, wait a minute," because they started talking about the North. What is it? North. The pipeline they're making over there, going through. There's one going right through Ukraine. The Russian pipeline is going through it down to the ocean, and then it goes on ships to Europe or whatnot. Then I remembered last night that they were building. I guess, let's say around 10 years ago, that they were going to build Russia, and then you got China, that they were going to build a pipeline to Siberia or whatever. And I seen somebody did a report on that. It's all fucking down to 50 below zero. These guys are out there working, digging the ditch, putting look like about 6 or 8 foot pipes in the ground. Now I understand why they're looking ahead, like 2030, say by the year 2050, they're looking ahead 30, 40, 50 years ahead for the future. It's like Xi or whatever, the Chinese guys, we're going back from 100 years ago, going back to Mao Zedong. And now Putin is saying we want to go back to the way the old Soviet Union was. Now, they're talking this, that, and the other, NATO and all that, and weapons and submarines and warships, nuclear. They're supposed to have gotten rid of all that shit, but they didn't. They still got it. And I was thinking back since the 50s, since I was a kid in elementary school, they were threatening, again, let's bring in the Kennedy assassination, where Russia were friends with Cuba and Castro, and they wanted to bring communism at our doorstep or our back door. And then what they were saying back then is they're worried about that if Cuba turns communist, the rest of the third world, Central and South American little countries would turn communist, or eventually all of South America. That's why they were trying to get rid of Castro. That's CIA. Now, this guy I watched, he was from Fort Worth, and he says that Allen Dulles was the head of the CIA back in, I guess, started like in the 50s. And I guess he had been there about 10 years or so. And they wanted to get rid of Castro, assassinate Castro. And they had a failed attempt. That was basically the Bay of Pigs invasion, I think. I'm not 100% sure on that. But anyhow, Dulles, the head or the director of the CIA, got fired. He fucked up, and I guess Kennedy fired him. And it said it was ironic because then they got Alan Dulles to become the head commissioner of the Warren Report. So he hated Kennedy, or the guy fired him or whatever, So I think Alan Dulles probably still had some old connection. That's like a elevated mafia, in my opinion. It's like the mafia. It's got the head man, and then a couple of subordinates, and then the guys, a bunch of guys that do the dirty work and shit. It's kind of like a corporation or whatever. But it's all coming to me now. It's all kind of fitting into place. And then you got international. They were, whether they were in the service or not, whatever. And then they said also the ones that make. Well, I was reading a thing about 10, 15 years ago about the Rothschilds and like the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, though, in Europe. They started back in the 1400s, I believe. And the guy had 5 sons, and he sent each son when they were about 20 years old. He sent each son to a different European country. They already had money. The old man had a lot of money in banking. And so they controlled, but it also said that they would fund, if there was a war or they would create a war, they would fund both sides. The people, one country would come to them and say, hey, we need to borrow some money because we're going to get in a war with our neighbors over here. And then the neighbor would come over there and say the same thing. So he's making money, getting back interest, and then whoever wins, and then whoever loses, if they didn't have the money, they got to give up the territory or their properties or whatever, the country or whatever. So you're at that point. Money is so powerful, if you got a lot of it, but it comes with it the power. Basically, common sense. You got more weapons. You can afford more weapons. You could probably beat your opponent. And I never seen that before. And I started, my dad used to say, well, everything's about money. Whoever has the money has the control. Excuse me. But that's it's starting to make sense. So I try to formulate these ideas into when I'm looking at the news, what's going on or what's really going on. And the reporters, the journalists, they're reporting on what's going on. I want to know, I'm not a genius. I got 129 IQ, but I want to know why. God, my fucking ex used to drive me. Why? I want to know why. Well, can't you? I told her after a while, I said, can't you think? And I realized she can think, but it's kind of, I don't know. She's been on the streets and all, God bless her, but it's like I was in the same shape. If my dad had they had little slogans. He moved down to the basement away from my mother, and they had little slogans from Germany and whatnot. It said, one of them was, if you're so smart, how come you're not rich? And that's, I've been used that many times, and like even on myself, if you're so smart, how come you're not rich? Or like they just said with Trump, come from a wealthy family in Long Island or Queens. Wealthy. My mother used to say we're middle class or upper middle class. What the fuck's the difference? But she wouldn't give me a definition exact. Well, it's kind of like you see these people over. I didn't quite understand. Now you go to New York City, it's rich or poor. You see one guy going in the garbage can. He's a bum. He's living on the streets, and there's a guy with, like John Gotti with a $2,000 suit in a limo getting out to go to the play or go to the opera. Motherfuckers got money, man. If you look at Epstein and them people, like he had that guy with Victoria's Secret. He was in the Midwest somewhere, or Ohio. I think it was out of Cincinnati, somewhere around there. Yeah. And I go by Cincinnati in the truck. It said founded in 1870 or something. It's in the 1770, some shit. It's an old fucking city. And I'm looking at you got a stadium, you're going over the bridge there. And I said, I bet you that'd be a hell of like Birmingham, Alabama. They're doing that construction on the highway. They made a fucking nice, man. But they said you're a detour. You go through downtown Birmingham. Most of it fucking burned out, like Baltimore. Now they got no, I went to Richmond, Virginia, a couple of months ago, and they put in the middle of town. They got these beautiful old brick buildings. They clean it up, put new windows and everything, made an open air, a huge room there. So hell, that's nice. There's so much traffic, I'm trying to look at this shit because I've been going by there for 15 years, and I see what you fix up the downtown. It's political, all the whites are moving out to the suburbs, and all this shit. You don't know where to start. I was in New York City in '70, and my Sicilian friend, we were drinking wine. He said, let's go over here. We went to Soho. It's right next to Little Italy from the village. And there's so many people. He's like me. He didn't like people, just drink. We're sitting in. Now, he was elevated up here. He was in a whole different level. So he said, let's go over there so we can talk. And I like to do that. So I went over there when it's all abandoned buildings. Then they started back in the 70s. I had my first girlfriend that I wanted to get a loft. I was playing guitar and all that. And back then it was like $4,000 fixture fee, they call it, whatever. But you get a whole building, you got the whole floor. I like that type of environment. Now, 70, 71, 72. Now it's all filled in, and then there was really nothing from Wall Street to Chinatown, Little Italy, and the Village. But the West Side, there wasn't shit down here. Torn down buildings or abandoned buildings. When I think it was in the early 80s, they built that thing up. In the late 70s, they started with that Tribeca area. They call it Tribeca. It's between Chambers and Houston Street, Houston, whatever. Real nice height, 20, 30-story apartment buildings. I had one girlfriend over there. Nice. She says, one of my neighbors here, he's got a Rolls Royce in the parking lot. Oh, it must be nice. Huh? Anyhow, the Kennedys and the DuPonts. I read his story, DuPont. Holy shit. They own Delaware. They own the state of Delaware. So, like, I'm looking at Joe Biden. What the fuck? This guy, I go to Delaware. They don't pay tax. There's no state tax. But the dad, he got into chemicals, and then with the war efforts, you could see what happens. Play ball, military industrial complex. you play ball with these guys, the napalm or whatever. So then sometimes the kids say, like every other generation, like the sons, 3 out of 4, 2 out of 4, they lose the money or they're not interested in that money. A lot of the, it's like my dad was so dedicated to work. It's like I'm Americanized a little bit. I don't want to kill. The irony is my dad ended up living to be 100, so hard work is good for you, I guess. But anyhow, now I was watching the Olympics. It said, "Oh, I guess we're not supposed to watch the Olympics because they're in China, which is a genocide country. They're killing all the Muslims over there or something. They got them locked up or some shit." But I said, "Hey, fuck it, I'm taking a break over here." And I want to watch the Olympics. I was athletic when I was younger, and it make you feel old. I'll tell you that. But I was watching it. I was watching the skating, the couples, beautiful, unbelievable. The guy's throwing a girl up and she's spinning 3 or 4 times, and then he catches her. It's like, holy fuck, I couldn't do that. I couldn't even imagine that shit. And then I seen over here my neighbor, that Michelle Schifrin. I guess her dad just died, and I think she was shook up about that or something. Anyhow, she fell like 3 times, and she came in fourth or something. But she got support from all kind of people. When you lose somebody, that hurts, and she's not over it yet or something. But then I thought, oh yeah, this young girl, 17, 18, something like that, good looking, woo. And they showed her house. I guess she did a commercial for something. I forget. $1.7 million house over in Colorado, not too far from here. Mingy, what a, you know. All I got for Christmas was this 1927 house. God bless them. I try to get my idea or my opinions out. Maybe I can help somebody like Grandpa or something. Uh, I was looking at Mary Blige. I looked at the View just to see. I guess Whoopi Goldberg ain't back yet, but enjoy Bayard. I guess it's an old Jewish girl from Brooklyn. What the fuck? I'm looking at it, 25 years ago when they started? Yeah, they just had a 25-year anniversary. I don't, I never, and I really don't want to have a job for no 20, 25 years. That's what I'm thinking of getting out the truck. Go do something else. Challenge yourself. You can always work at McDonald's or Walmart. Jesus Christ. Go try to do something. Maybe it's your time. You get lucky or something. And you hit the lottery. But anyhow, God bless her. I think she's Jewish. I know she used to on and on with her boyfriend back 25 years ago, 20 years ago. Well, see, Barbara Walters started that, and she was, how do you describe Barbara Walters? She was good at what she did, intellectual a little bit. Compared to that, you got now it's like all these young hens that are and Donald Trump and Rosie O'Donnell started with that shit. God bless her. It's another Irish, but Brooklyn. Usually people from Brooklyn are real good people. All the ones I ever met, tough as nails, but also had some class about them. Uh, Brooklyn is the fourth largest city. Anyhow, I like the hustle in Manhattan and all that. So she got Mary Blige today. That was at the Super Bowl halftime. Man, that woman looked good. And it showed. I didn't watch it. I'm fucking with the trying to get free streaming and all this shit. I said, fuck. I watched the highlights about 5 minutes after the play. You get 5 or 10 minutes. You get the highlights. I says, what are you looking at football? Ain't I like to see a good game, and that was a good game, but making millions and the whole. I don't know. I get pissed because I really am probably too cheap. I could have spent $5 to get on the, but I says, what do you care? It's the Super Bowl. What is anybody putting any money in my pocket? A nickel or a dime, anything? No. I said, what do you care? My Cowboys, they're out. They always get a jump on the next season. You know, they're but the halftime show, I never liked Snoop Dogg because I was in the same fucking neighborhood when I first started driving a truck back in the 80s. And he was always with that black shit. That's fine, but now he come out with a low rider. That's not a black thing, fuckhead. You know, look at East LA. I seen a video about East LA. Anytime you want to look at low riders from the Mexicans, and he never. I just put it out there, man. Let's talk about Mexicans. Oh, you're black and white. You were in the music world, and you made it. I like to see guys make it, and I'm glad I'm glad he made it. He's not there in Compton shooting drugs, and his son's going to UCLA. All that, good. God bless you. But it wouldn't kill you to acknowledge. And if you don't like Mexicans, say, but acknowledge when you don't, when it's just black and white. When I grew up, there's so many more Latinos, Hispanic, whatever you want to call them, than there was back in the 50s. And most of these people, I don't like them. I call them new immigrants. That motherfucker, I just went to Walgreens to get some cigarettes, and I'm coming out. There's a guy sitting on the sidewalk, and I just came out the sliding door, and I was going to go this way, and I was going to take a sip. I bought a Coke, and I was going to open the thing and take a swig out of it. Here comes this Mexican, this little boy, I think, and they're in such a fucking hurry. I'm an old man. Why don't you look 3 feet in front of you, asshole? And I just started to move. Now, him and his kid are like blocking the way. Instead of saying, "Oh, excuse me," and letting me, I already started to make a move. He come on, look at me, step in front of me, like block me, and then look down at me. And then the kid's walking there. I caught myself and then went like this, back and forth, and then the wife come up. It's like, motherfucker, you got no respect. You're not looking. You don't see I got white hair, motherfucker. I'm 72. And I watched him. He didn't give this guy sitting on the ground. He didn't give him one penny. And then it gets in this $30, $40, $50,000 RV or pickup. I was reading something else to say with this guy who was from Germany. This was like the Shaolin monks. He said, "Oh, don't let these people. There's a negative energy." And I remember that from this afternoon or this morning I was watching. I said, "There you go." When I go to Walgreens, I come in there. get a soda. I come back. There's nobody there. And I point to the Marlboros. There's a new girl, about 25 to 30. I point. Can you see me pointing? Like right now, I'm pointing to my chin. I mean, you're like 3 feet apart. So the Marlboros, she don't smoke. They don't do nothing. But they always think they know everything because of the computer that they learned in school and all this shit. Fuck you. You got no common sense. That's the one thing I don't like about the younger ones. You can't see past a doctor too. I'm looking at these doctors. Nobody smokes. Fuck you. I used to smoke, drink, spit, fart, you name it. I don't give a shit. I'm a real person. It's a different like culture or something. To me, now I'm going to stick the label on them. They're goody two shoes. They're talking so fucking fast. It's not how fast you talk. I used to do that in New York. You're young. Now you pick and choose. That's the same thing with driving a car. I drove a cab. I've driven cars all my life. I know what it is to go fast. Fast as fuck. Well, you're looking to kill yourself. What do you think? I go at a steady clip now, and I look ahead to where I'm going. I try to plan out ahead of time, but you can't always do that. The GPS and all that, sometimes it give you a wrong. Oh, fuck. I was in, Houston about a year ago, man. The GPS sent me down this fucking street, and they're working on it. There's a warehouse, I think FedEx or something to the left. And I come up to a stop sign as it's a right turn only, and they were building a new warehouse. If you stop at a stop sign and go across, and I'm looking and it's showing me that the address was past that new building, but it's their property and they're working on it. You can't drive through. So I said, well, maybe let me stop for a minute. I went in there and I asked the security guard. I says, "Hey, it's telling me this." And he didn't. I don't know. Maybe it's the next block. I don't know. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I'll go make a right and then go to the next block and come back or something like that. But it turns out it was the building before. So I had to make a U-turn. And sometimes you got to use. You don't. 90% of the time I don't have a problem with a GPS, but sometimes because it's the real world. It's not a perfect world. And I was listening to this autistic lady. This is interesting. That said that well, we used to believe that the world was flat until we learned that it was like round. It's what you call it, a paradigm or something like that. Your idea, everybody's idea of what it is, and until you learn something, which I thought was a good idea, like a lot of the prejudice, what we used to call prejudice, and what they call now the racism and all that shit. I'm looking at the civil rights from the early 60s. Very well aware of that. I went to elementary school. We went to school together. I mean, I asked this black girl out to the movies. I think I was like 10 or something. A nice looking girl. Got her phone number. I'm talking to her, and I'm a little boy, I says, "Hey, you want to go to the movie Saturday?" She says, "Downtown, they got something going on, something showing." She says to me, broke my heart. It stayed with me forever. She says, "Oh, I can't go in there." I said, "Why not?" "Oh, they don't let coloreds in there." They called them colors back then. It's fucked up, man. I didn't know what the fuck to say, Anyhow, I'm watching the progressiveness, and I gotta go back to the news and all. And I said, these fucking guys that are in suits are doing well. The black, but I'm thinking too. I asked one girl at the middle school when I came back to El Paso. I was talking about the same point. Light skinned Mexicana, Mexican, uh, gorgeous, but stuck up kind of whatever. And she was like a counselor or something. Anyhow, she was sitting there, and I guess she read the assignment. She understood the assignment. She reaches in a drawer and pulls out this magazine from Houston with a Texan or something. She says they had her brother. He's a 10% owner of the Houston. The fuck's the name of it? The football team. The Houston Texans, whatever they are. I can't even think about what it. And the guy got on a pinstripe suit. He was about 30, look a little Mexican, kind of light skin. And I said, that's what I'm talking about. But what the point I was trying to make to her, it's you got to, number one, yeah, he's not in El Paso. Number one. Number two, he's 1/10 owner where they're bringing up this NFL. They don't have the black coaches. That's a good point. Take it all the way to Supreme Court. I don't have a problem with that. They talk about and Reggie White. Yeah, his cousin. I met him down in Laredo. I was dead broke, didn't have nothing to eat after my son died. His cousin, a Vietnam vet, he had seven dogs or something, white dogs or whatever. Been sitting there with the owner operator, Texas Toast. That's his handle. He said, I've been sitting here all week. They're waiting on the parts, and the guy put it in wrong, had to take it out, whatever. He said, I've been here all fucking week. I said, holy shit. I couldn't even do that. That was about 12 years ago. My son had just died. Yeah. I was sitting there bullshitting. I guess he was from that Baltimore area, somewhere around there. And we're sitting there bullshitting. And it goes, I ain't got nothing. I'm hoping I don't run out of cigarettes. And after about an hour, he says, hey, you want to get something to eat? Or I said, man, I'm starving, man. Said, I'm going to go find something to eat. Get one of them 50-cent Texas sweet rolls of, iced. It's junk, but when you're hungry, man, politicians don't do that, do they? The movie stars, all the left wing, right wing, whatever. I don't give a flying fuck when you're hungry. Who you are, man. Shit. This gentleman was nice, and he says, hey, there's a pizza place across the street. He says, come on, let's go over there. I walked with him over there, and I said, I told him, I says, I ain't got enough money for pizza. And he says to me, he says, did I ask you if you could afford it? I told you, come on, let's go get some pizza. Oh, Reggie White's cousin or whatever. I don't forget that shit. That's some real shit. Anyhow, getting back to Mary Blige on The View this morning. They showed the end of that halftime show. And at the end, I thought it was funny as fuck. At the end of her song or whatever, Mary Blige's been around for forever. And she's doing a dance, got her boots up to her thighs and shit. Look good. And, it's a big ordeal. Jennifer Lopez, all that shit. Jenny from the block. Yeah. What happened, Jenny? You ain't on the block no more. Yeah, I got news for you. But, make another movie. Who gives a fuck? You don't even know how many millions you got. But that's all right. That's all right. God bless them. I can always change the channel. But I'm looking, Mary Blige just hit me right where I live. at the end of her production, she was on the top of the roof or something. I thought it was funny. I wasn't expecting it. She ends up and just lays out. And she was saying, and on The View, she says, well, fuck, I was tired anyhow. And she said they made some mimes of that. And it says, I got to be to work at 8:30, me at 8:29 or some shit. I said, ain't that the truth? The truth. You're dead. I've been sitting at the house for 4 weeks, like I started at the beginning of this podcast, whatever. My body's still. I just took a shower, fucking working on my Cadillac, eating better, trying to relax. And I got sick last year. I caught the hantavirus. It was up in Pecos for the desert rats or whatever when they shit. They got the airborne, whatever virus, whatever. You could die from it. I came to the house. I laid down. I didn't hardly move for 6 weeks. I ain't going to the motherfucking. I just soon died, but pretty near died. It was just I'd have a cigarette or two. Didn't even feel like smoking. Water, my mother. Water, drink lots of water. I'd get up, drink water, cook up an egg or two. Nothing, some soup. It's bad news. But I'm thinking, well, what are you jumping up and down like you're 20 years old? Like I said, I got $4 grand. I'm going to stay another week. Now I got to get back to my truck. I might go up there and move it so they don't tow it. And there's a couple of, I got to get a tire off. The rim ain't no good. It keeps losing air a little bit. You hit these potholes, and I was going to bring the rim to the house. I don't know what for. It's where scrap metal or whatever. Anyhow, I thought that was funny, and I thought too. The whole country is wore out, tired. Now I like to see with the young people working. I'm looking where they don't have the chips now for the newer cars. I'm working on my old Cadillac because I don't want to be a hypocrite. Fix what you got. And that's my dad. And I looked about 3 years ago to get another, taking forever. I'm getting the parts little by little online and whatnot, and O'Reilly's, AutoZone, all this shit. And looking on YouTube how to fix the block, see if it's not warped, the cylinder head. I'm going to take off the cylinder heads again. It's turning over, but I want to clean out the cylinders. Then I'm getting no compression on the one I just changed because the guy called the cops on me crossing the alley. But it rained here like crazy about three months ago. And the weeds are up to your head. So I cleaned those off, called the officer. And then I was looking at violation. It said if it's over 35 years old, the car, that's an exception. So we're going to tow it. We have break the lock on your fucking gate and everything. So that's me and my son's car. Somebody going to die over that shit. And thank God, I pray a lot. And God directed me to, I was scrolling on the parking code in El Paso. And I said, hey, by the way, I said, there's an exception. Oh, you're good. You're good there. I took a picture of it. You're good. Yeah, okay, yeah. But I also want you to know, I'm not stupid, and I am blessed by the Lord. Don't come at me with your badge, your gun, and because you've got a little more money than me. Don't. You got to do it. You're going to do it. But I says, I never liked that guy across the alley. Something ain't right about it. He's not real. Or, like I say, don't think negative. he may have a horror story to tell me. You know, most people won't come out with that. They keep it inside. And I have learned that it eats away at me if I don't. I, I want you to know, like in the 70s, we was on the street. I want you to know where I'm coming from. This is why I'm saying and doing this, acting like this, because this is, my brother used to say, it's your opinions are based on your experience. So now, with all this bullshit we had since Trump, it started getting me to think. I mean, I can't do that much, but I thought this is a good way to let me express my opinions, put them out there. If you don't, like I say in my first video, don't send me no fucking death threats. Don't, you know, if you don't, fuck you. You know, if you don't agree with me, then write down what it is in a sensible manner. Don't start your old. I know I'm old, but if you listen to what I'm saying, I'm just saying one thing that you learn when you get older is that you must be doing something right because you're not dead. You know, I'm not saying I'm a saint or an angel or nothing else, but I was a drunk and all that, but drunks and addicts are not 100% wrong. And they explained that to me in AA because I started getting down on myself, like you're a fucking bum, you know. And said not everything we did was wrong. We helped out people here and there, you know, worked all the time, you know. So, but I've been on a computer like crazy because I got nothing else. It was freezing here. There was a down to 17 degrees. That's like a record. Uh, about 5 days, man. I put on my heavy jacket. I don't want to get sick. No use coming to the house. You don't get sick out there. And I'm looking at that protest in Ottawa. I can't do that. I was up in Montreal, Toronto back when I'm 20, 21 years old and drinking. I can't do that shit no more. These guys running. A guy suggested, a United States guy, an American guy, he says, go to the house, have a beer, watch a football game, and whatever you're going to do. Don't spend your money wasting diesel fuel. Just take yourself out of the equation. Like basically, see, they got the American truckers protests starting tomorrow, I think. I'm going to drive from LA, from Barstow, and Washington State or something. Some points in between, you know. They're going to, but I'm looking. All these guys are mostly younger than me. I think, I think it would be better. They had a slow roll. They're not getting nowhere. The big corporations got the money, and where you're bringing all these uh, foreigners in that don't even speak English. That's a corporation. They got a $60 driver license, 2 or 3 weeks of training. They're truckers, you know. Oh fucking god! Don't get me started. Uh, the corporation, and then they got a camera on you. If you two guys, Snyder and somebody other guys, are taking a video while they're driving, which you're supposed to know, for God's sakes, that's against the law. No handheld devices. You got to put on your earphones if you're talking on the phone, for instance. This is legal. I mean, that was 10 years ago. Well, you don't know that, but they're new. They don't. They probably don't know because the turnover is so they can't handle it. Like I said, I ran out of money. I had like 50 cents to eat on. you know, and I'm looking at these guys up in Ottawa, man. Now the Trudeau says it's going to be $100,000 fine. They're going to impound your truck. I can't afford that. You're going to put me out of business, which means I'm going to have $860 a month Social Security. I worked all my fucking life. Is it worth it? Now, the reason I'm saying this is because, thank God, I found this video that's showing Trudeau acting like a total jerk with the Emergency Terrorist Act or whatever. We're all a bunch of terrorists. And the rest of Parliament was saying, there's a blonde-haired lady reading him the Riot Act. They're just protesting when they closed off the bridge. And then of all people, here's fucking has-been Geraldo. Oh, well, them truckers, what about the people that are, I said, he's very aggressive. He's got to get the spotlight. When he had back in 77, I think he found Al Capone's safe in the basement of a building. So he made a big deal about that. Everybody knew, are you going to watch Geraldo Friday night? He's going to open up Al Capone's safe. They found his safe in Chicago, in a building in Chicago. I'm drinking. I said, fuck it. Yeah, I'll find out in a day or two what they found. Turns out there was nothing in it. And I tip my hat to Geraldo. He was down on Wall Street one night, and he hates drugs. And there was a Puerto Rican. He's Puerto Rican. There's a Puerto Rican guy down Wall Street, which you don't hardly see back in the 70s. There wasn't too many mostly Jewish. But anyhow, he sees a young guy and he says, hey, he got in a conversation with the guy, and the guy says, oh, I'm selling drugs or some shit. And he says, the guy's all over him. I don't like what drugs does to people. But I noticed his attitude. He was interviewing Charles Manson in prison about 20 years ago or so. And he's all over Charles Manson. Charles Manson got his own ideology. He's a mountain boy from Tennessee or some shit, Arkansas. He's a mountain. Now that I know, I want to express my side of the way I'm looking at it. Because Geraldo, God bless him, yeah, he went to law school. Some mom and dad had money, whatever. And I know Puerto Ricans in New York. I see them out here driving a truck. Some of them are very nice, beautiful. This guy was helping me out about 6 months ago. Couldn't believe it, But Geraldo kind of became a big fish in a little pond. He wasn't on the streets. He was a womanizer. I got no problem with that. And then he starts in with the mustache, like, give it a break, because he's on the 5 now. And he's older. Him and Judge Janine, they're taking over. They're older and they're into the legal process. But I'm looking at Greg Gutfield. The guy's quick. He's clever. And that was he's worked his way up. And it's like they come in and say, well, we have the final say. I'm like, man, get rid of fucking Geraldo or something. I don't know. He's a Democrat and all that. But when you don't see the American spirit in the Midwest, not saying that there ain't drugs all over the place and assholes, but he just got under my skin. He was going to box. He didn't like, I like Howard Stern, but he didn't like Howard Stern. Starts running him down. They got in a boxing match. They went in a ring. And I wish I'd have had a couple of months because Howard's tall. I would have shown Howard Stern how to box, knock Geraldo on his fucking ass. It was, he boxed a little bit. I used to box, but I don't know. Anyhow, and I was looking at Curtis Sliwa from the Guardian Angels, where they got this new 22-year-old police veteran as the mayor of New York City, and he come on giving a press conference. I'm a vegan or whatever the fuck. Number one, we all ought to eat. I don't want to hear that shit. You got a crime problem. Giuliani took care of that. Pull your pants up and tighten your belt or whatever. You got experience on the street. Who the fuck cares about vegan? Are you what the fuck is that? I was listening to Curtis Sliwa. He was they were interviewing him a few months back, and I seen him go against this candidate, this Puerto Rican guy that had money. He was into promoting business, getting business to come to New York. But on a higher level, I guess he didn't win either. They were running for mayor. And Curtis is tough as nails, man. He's about my age. I know about him. And I think what he did was a good thing. He's from Brooklyn, knows all the mobsters and shit. But then he went out to L.A. out around 80, 81. I said, what the fuck? I'm trying to get away from these guys. He's a stand-up guy, took a couple of bullets, got stabbed a couple. He knows. He's a tough son of a bitch. And I think, number one, that's what you need in New York City. What are you going to do about the crime problem? It's getting insane. I don't want to go back to New York seeing what I see. My nephew talking about buying a house in Brooklyn, and I'm trying to talk to him because he's becoming a drunk. There's no use talking to the devil's in the bottle, so I'm to the devil. You're not going to get nothing out of that. But I'm just trying to pull his coat, like we used to say that I was on a Bowery, motherfucker. You don't want to listen to what I'm telling you. Well, God bless you. I hope you survive. That's a rough motherfucker. I don't know if it's worse now or what, but it's like Chicago, same thing. I hung out in Chicago a couple of times back in the 70s, man. I ain't going nowhere near Chicago, man. It got too much shooting on. It's not just the shooting that's increased, but it also tells you that if you're black and you looking at things like I'm a white guy, my chances of getting shot. They got this reverend that's he was sleeping on top of his building, about 3 or 4 story building, for 90 days or something. Colder than fuck. God bless this guy. But he want to start a youth, after school or something, to go play basketball or whatever. You got a little baseball field, whatever, man. Keep kids out of trouble. Give them something to do. That's going back to the way things were. What does the word liberal mean? I don't know. The judge is all liberal. Okay, now here's the thing. Here's a problem as I see it. That when you make Diane Sawyer was in Rikers Island about 5 years ago, and they were teaching they were educating, getting them a high school degree. They're uneducated on the basic. My ex was like that. You fall through the system, whatnot. You fall through the cracks. When I was in Rikers Island in 79, black, Puerto Rican, and white, Mexican, I was kind of just listening. We all agreed that you need to educate yourself. Like Abraham Lincoln studied by candlelight. He wanted to learn. And that's what I'm trying to do. And most of the kids, I call them kids, they all got the smartphone and you can look at the girls, you can look at the porn, or whatever you want to do. But look at educate yourself, man. Google, ask a question, you get your answer. Educate, do another one. Is something you're thinking about? Ask Mr. Google. Like I'm learning how to fix this fucking car. YouTube. My ex is still watch movie. Yeah, you Netflix. I get a free movie on YouTube, but it's just I got other stuff. I'm busy trying to fix my car, fix my house, and I need to know what is involved with welding, carpentry, the little ins and outs. And for a few bucks, you do a little. I got to fix the hole in the roof. And I talked to my nephew. He knows a little bit about that shit. I talked to truck drivers about mechanical repairs and all that. And it all comes together, Oh, I said, oh wow, you're smart, or yeah. Well, it's available to anybody. Uh, I see some black guys on the news that give a intellectually smart answer. They have a little insight. That's what I'm talking about. It's on the next level. Now you got to, like, I hated school, and I say, hey man, I tell these foreigners, like that guy at Walgreens, my comment, it just came out. I'm sorry, man. I said, hey, teach that kid English. You want the American dream, motherfucker? I had to learn. I'm talking to my buddy from Pennsylvania, Jimmy Greek, come over when he's 3 or 4 years old. Had to learn that. Guy knows how to tear apart a motor, truck motor, motorcycle. He's got a place that he's got to fix the roof, this, that, and the other. Got his old lady's got cancer. I told him, ask questions on Google, Dr. Google. Ask a medical question, WebMD. Find out your information. I was doing this for him. Then I would do this for him. Then I said, well, hey, Jimmy, listen, man, I'm busy too. I got shit to do. Love the guy, but I'm trying to educate him. Now, he knows he went to school for machinery. So I'm talking to the guy. He's helping me out. We're talking 20 times a day. But I got medical experience with my son, and I'm trying to give him an insight around. They did some kind of operation on his old lady's ass, a colonoscopy, whatever. Went up to the Mayo Clinic. Mayo Clinic got to go down to John Hopkins in Baltimore, this, that, and the other. And I'm talking to him for about 6 months, and he's got stage 4 cancer. I say, hey, I found something in Tijuana. You go to, she already talked to a couple of people. That's bullshit over there. I'm just trying to help you. And the way he said it, I said, fuck you, man. I'm just trying to help you out. My buddy, Mike, had cancer and beat it. Went with a chemotherapy. He always had long hair. He got his own motorcycle shop he had. They just died 2 years ago. And I says, well, whatever I suggested, he's knocking it down. That's his ego from the State Highway Patrol that they know it all, which is fucking him up. That's why I look at the cops. I know you got a job to do, but I don't know if they train them not to engage in conversation. Not everybody's like a rabid dog, human. I got into it with the cops many times. I've been locked up 48, 50 times, whatever, all over the country. I was drunk 90% of the time. My counselor said, do you go to jail when you're drinking? Do you always go to jail? I said, no. He said, he rephrased the question, whenever you go to jail, were you drunk? And I thought about it for a minute. I was fucking drunk. Well, my ex, she went back to Ohio. She got fucking crazy over that shit. And he just made a very good point. Thank God. Because Elke's got all the excuses. I'm fighting it. Now, my buddy Jimmy there, he told me too. I told him about the trouble I got in New York. And he says, "Oh, what, man?" He said, "I think you got set up. You sure as shooting." My sister, forget about it. It was 40 years ago. That's the way she deals with. Well, it's not really her problem, but it kind of embarrassed the family and all that. But I looked up the girl online. So I had called her originally and I said, "Listen, I'm sorry about this." "Yeah, okay." Boom. She went straight to a Park Avenue lawyer. Now I got the detectives coming over. I got to go to court. I thought you're going to squash it. But looking back, I don't hate her because it was the lawyers and also the district attorney has to pick up if it's like a felony. They pick it up, even if the girl says, "I don't want to go to court." We have to press charges. As I'm listening to Michael Franzese and Sammy the Bull, they inspire me because they were in that legal system. In New York, God help you. You shouldn't have been in that, my dad. You should have been in that circumstances in the first place. Now don't look for no sympathy or no help or nothing out of me. You shouldn't have, you know better. Yeah, I do know better, but that's what people don't want to understand. With alcoholism, you can argue this if you want to. Alcoholism is a disease and it's treatable, like drug addiction, sex addiction, gambling addiction. That's what I found this video that the lady says it's the dopamine, what makes you feel good. Running if you like that or whatever you do that causes pleasure, like sugar. Some of these guys are diabetic. Like, fat fucking legs are all purple. You need in your mind to realize this addictive part. You want to feel good, taste good. Like I ate half a gallon of ice cream, man. It's shit. I said, "Motherfucker, you just robotically shit some good homemade vanilla." What shit? And I'm watching the video and I'm like, "Motherfucker, that's 100 scoops in a row. You now you just it's like shooting dope or shooting drugs or whatever with the crystal meth, the fentanyl. It hits. I don't know if they did research on this. It wouldn't surprise me. The Russians, the Chinese, the Nazis, they were all experimenting on this mind control from the 60s. It's the same fucking shit. So I thank God in a way that I saw the light and I quit drinking and my head cleared up, my body cleared, detox. And you got a chance to live, correct yourself, and this is the best I ever done in my life, really. And I thank God. So yeah, I'm looking at the Super Bowl and wherever there's a lot of money, there's Ottawa to protest it. And I don't hear a motherfucking word about. I want to hear about addiction and how the brain controls the body and you act and all that. Now, so does the heart. And if you love your family, you love your kids, you love your wife, you love your husband, whatever, it makes you healthier. It's a form of control. I see that Shoaling monk guy I was looking at this morning. He said with the heart. Now, you got to understand with the heart and love and lust, the emotions. I see some on the news like some kid got fucked over or somebody got killed. A guy that was drunk, or a girl. There was a girl about 20 years old. I went to Costa Mesa back in 80. And this beautiful, cute little Irish girl, about 20, had a little sports car or something. And there's a curve over there around, I don't know, I forget, it was around Huntington Beach or Newport Beach, somewhere around there. Anyhow, she's drunk. I mean, wasted, and with a little sports car. She, she, she missed a curve and ran head on into, killed a couple of people, one or two people. And she was like 20. They had her on the news or something. Cute little beach bunny, whatever. And I'm looking at this, said, "Oh shit!" And it said, and they came out with it. They gave her 10 years. Man, it kills you. There was a Mexican girl up on the, I think it was I-10 coming into LA. Same thing, like Sunday morning or something. Wasted. I think she was going on the wrong. Yeah, she was going on the wrong side of the freeway. A Sunday morning ain't too much traffic because otherwise it's just, you couldn't really even kill anybody. Could only doing 20 miles an hour, and it's you bumper to bumper, 6 lanes on each side. Whatever. This broad was wasted. Got on the freeway going the wrong way. Ran into a motherfucker, killed 2 or 3 people, 4 people, something like that. 20, 22, 23, 24, somewhere around here. I don't know. I think they gave her 20 years. But it's like, it could have, So, anyhow, they're talking about all this, the homeless in Venice, LA, San Francisco, all over. So the people got uh, drinking and drugs, the residents. They got a drinking problem. They got a drug problem. They're breaking in now. They moved to Venice Beach, doing their little drugs, the drug community. They go to California because the weather's nice, so drug addicts aren't completely stupid. But now you can't change the nature of the beast to get their money. Now they're not getting a drink of water. They're not getting 2 cents for a bottle of wine or $2 for a bottle of wine. You sit there and your buddy's got some cigarettes and you get mellow the rest of the evening and smoke a little pot or something. No, these are hard drugs, and the hard drugs you need a little extra money. Well, there's nobody home over there. I've been watching this. They're breaking into the houses and starting fires, or they're causing. Lady got robbed in her car. They broke in the car. People got money down there in Venice. It's kind of eccentric. The old used to be the old Bohemians. Hulk Hogan, used to have Muscle Beach. It's kind of like they want visitors to come down there. It's, what do you call it? Take a vacation, go down to Venice. And you see guys are juggling. And I seen a guy juggling down there. Motherfucker, he had bowling pins. Little skinny guy. I'm watching the guy. What the fuck? I ain't going to give him. I didn't have any money, but I'm watching this guy. What the fuck? Probably making more money than I was making, but but they're not hurting. They're not stealing, robbing. These people, that's a lot of money down there, man. Anyhow, the citizens the residents are getting together to try to, LA County, whatever, the Venice police. They just cleared a bunch of them a couple of months ago, cleared out the tent city, they call it. And now, LA, Southern California, my brother's buddy from the Navy told me there's more money in Southern California than anywhere in the world. There's money down there, but how do you fix this problem? part of me is a little resentful because nobody ever want to kind of listen to me because I'm some kind of freak or something. I can tell you, I'm watching these younger journalists where they're doing a story and they put in their 2 cents. Like this black guy from Dallas, Lawrence, I forget his last name. He's on Fox News. And his dad was a truck driver. Okay, so cross country, that's his show. Now he's bouncing back and forth, going down and getting his hands dirty, like going to the border and shit, and seeing firsthand just a taste what's going on. And it's basically with these immigrants, illegal immigrants, you got a problem. And then you add drugs to that, the cartel, sex trafficking, rapes, stabbings, whatever, shootings, whatever. Like Biden don't even go there. Kamala Harris come down to El Paso to the airport, did a press conference here, flew to LA. This is not the border. This is not Laredo, motherfucker. Get a map. Oh, they don't have to. Now she's in Germany. Well, I haven't been to Europe yet. Okay, now come down back to the border. Go down and see with the kids in the tents, with that like piled on top of each other. They have to sleep on top of each other. Oh, the president told the press they can't go in there and take pictures because they don't want you to see. They're not checking them for COVID. 1 out of 100. I was saying that 3, 4, 5 years ago. These fucking immigrants coming over here with no socks, no shoes, just with the flip flops, washing their feet in the sink. They just look filthy. Not all of them. Some of these ragheads and shit. India, I'm from India. I was watching a thing on India where, oh man, burning, cremating, just burn them. One after the next, nonstop with that COVID. The American dream. I got my passport. Afghanistan when they're leaving. Here's my papers. See, I got the. And then it was all in a hurry, and a bunch of they got terrorists in here now, and 2,000 people from Russia. They're probably spies. I was thinking, well, if Biden, he's in bed with China and Russia. Or China. China got 10 billion people or some shit to pop. They got people like this. Well, you can do it, but the thing is, this country was set up. It was a big country and there wasn't that many people. It got set up where there's more cars, there's more people. New York got 8, 9 million people, 10 million people. Everybody comes to work during the day. It's like this. I'm young. I'm trying to get close to these girls. They're wearing micro mini skirts, and that's fine by me. I'm trying to, do my wino thing, but when you get sober and all that, it's like El Paso. When I left in '67, it's fucking El Paso, Juarez, and Fort Bliss. It's like a little LA now. Sucks. It's like I don't like LA. It's just too fucking crowded anymore. Tucson, Phoenix, people are leaving. It's just the prices are sky high. Dallas, Lord, I got to pick up and go if someone would drive through it. Nobody knows it. Road construction, nobody knows how to drive. Everybody's in a hurry. Atlanta, the whole East Coast. I stopped a couple of times this year. Richmond, motherfucker, man. I used to go to Philly, Baltimore, everywhere. DC. Fuck that shit. You get a little more, but it's just it just wow. I mean, you get stressed out. I come over to the Rocky, went up to Washington State. Times you cut down through four corners, very little traffic. You're going through them, beautiful. Maybe see a little casino. You go park over 10 guys over there. I go to Richmond. I said, there's at TA on North Richmond. Uh, say about 100 parking spots. I get there early in the morning. A couple of spots open. It was beautiful. I'm fucking beat, man. Pull in there. This guy next to me, okay, he's sleeping, I guess. Boom, bam, start the motor, whatever. You look up, fucking he's leaving already. I look at my wife, been there an hour. Here come another guy. With the APU unit, the reefer unit. Motherfucker. In and out, in and out, in and out. It's like nervous energy. I'm trying to be, want to be like the Shoaling monks, only in the nice weather. I don't want to be 9,000 feet up in the air in a mountain. Fuck. Peaceful. Anyhow, that's what we got to deal with over here. So I'm looking, and they had something about the how they make those computer chips or whatever. Man, 100 times more sterile than a hospital, and you got all these foreigners, well lit, multi-billion-dollar corporations. Everybody's got the mask on, looking through the microscope and all that shit. It's fascinating, but I don't want to be there for like my nephew. He's 40 years already doing semi. The guy's no wonder he's drinking. I look at the old on YouTube. Got life in the 20s, life in the 1920s, life in the 1880s, life in the 1860s. They had one how a woman tries to trap a man, catch a man back in the 1860s. So I was looking at that. And the guy comes in and the woman's cooking. Nice lady with the long dress and all that. But she's cooking like, oh, man. Here comes this guy. He's delivering some wood. She's trying to, I'm available. I'm like, I said, you dumb motherfucker. That's a beautiful woman, man. And she knows how to cook. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach for you young ones. My ex could cook. That's one reason I fell in love with her. She could cook. I'm selling used cars, man. I'm busier in fucking LA. And she says, oh, there's a grocery store across the street. You want me to? I said, I'm starving, man. She says, you want me to walk over and get some? Give her $5. She comes back with hamburger, onions, pepper, fucking potato, some shit. Make a little, not like a stew, but make a little motherfucker on a skillet, electrical. And I'm busy, man. I'm answering the phone. I'm fucking with the car. I ain't got time to spit. Somebody come over, you light up a cigarette, you bullshit, grab a cup of coffee. She's over to cook. She said, ready now. I went, oh, fuck. She can cook now, but I had to learn. It says start, if you need to get away from some negativity, start substituting, thinking about something else. Make yourself think about something else. So that's what I'm doing right now because I get back into that. It feels comfortable. Push yourself a little bit. Slap yourself upside the head, whatever. Think about something else. I got stuff to do. Anyhow, just kicking it out there. Like it, leave it. Take it, whatever. I'm getting old. I don't know how long I'll be here. Maybe I'll live to 105. I don't know. But, I might die tomorrow. I don't know. It's up to God. So I've made my peace with the Lord. Life is funny. Life is strange. We're blessed, and the crime I'm looking at, they were talking about not feeling safe. I feel sorry for these women, but like back in '80, I went out to California and I says, "Hey, the fucking girls looking good, short skirts, stockings, heels, looking good, man. They got their hair done, they're sobered up, and they come out of the car, one leg at a time. And I mean, guys are guys. I'm looking to them like, what the fuck? Uh, some of these guys are animals. Girls used to hitchhike cross country back in the '60s and the '70s. I mean, they're probably put out, for the truck drivers, but never used to hear about rapes that much. Now it's every other. Oh, that fucking guy raped a girl in Central Park in broad daylight. He fucked her on the subway. Guy smacking a broad, taking her backpack, showing a video. How the fuck you hit a girl? That's what I'm saying. Curtis, Sliwa, Giuliani, that type of people in the mob. You leave the women and children alone, period. If you're going to kill me, motherfucker, but leave my wife alone, leave my kids alone. It's a guy thing. You want to bite or stab or shoot one guy to the other, then, whatever. But leave the women and kids. That's an old thing, like the Titanic or whatever. The women, children go on the lifeboats. You want to preserve. That's how important it was back in the 1900s and shit. Have a little respect. The man walks on the outside of by the street on the sidewalk. That's so if a car comes by and splashes water, the woman don't get drenched. Little shit like that, but now ain't nobody give a fuck about nothing. No manners. Oh, what are you all? Yes, I'm all. Here we go again. Yeah, but I was raised with some manners, and I asked. My mother told me when I was 6, 7, 8 years old. Well, he says, the man's supposed to walk on it, or also, I don't know. They used to throw water out the tenement, like New York. They throw the water outside of up on a second. I don't know, but just little things we got to open the door for the lady or a kid, a baby, a toddler, a child. Uh, sucks anymore. I'm always pissed. I says, you know what? I got to go with the flow or whatever. Just deal with it. I go out there, try to make my money, number one. Like I'm really feeling good about myself, but then I'm looking at it. The economy. These old guys. I'm looking at Larry Kudlow, his broadcast. He's an old. I think he's about 80, 76, 78, 80. But he knows about the stock market, and he's an older guy. I think he was in the military. A conservative, nice suit, clean, but up here, man, he should be president. I mean, the guy's talking so much sense, but it's not common sense anymore. It's not decency. Hopefully, we're having a revolution where we're going back to the old way of running this country if it's not too late. I'm looking at NASCAR this morning. I had Petty, Richard Petty, whatever, Petty, the original. He got his cowboy hat on and a big trophy there down in Florida, Daytona. And he was the young guys, and they're like little dogs in heat or something. Even the military guy, the vet, and the girl in the middle. And what about this? They're so trying to be so competitive. My dad asked me before he died. He says, "How are you going to compete with driving a truck?" I came out with this myself. The only thing to beat competition is elimination. There ain't nobody there. Got whacked or whatever. You left them so far behind. I try to get my shit together right, like I'm reliving my teenage years all over again with the cars and all. And I learned in my truck, I take shortcuts. I'm a fuck. I says, you know what? Watch these guys on YouTube how they do something, and half of them will start blah 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 like you're talking to a child almost, like you don't know nothing. And I said, well, just watch the guy skip ahead or something, fast forward a little bit. I want to see what he's doing, and he's going to make this, do this, turn it over here, measure this. Okay, you don't need to speak English. You don't need to speak Spanish or Lithuanian or whatever the fuck. I see how you do. How did you do that, or what's the end result? I know what I'm looking for. Oh, you gotta put this on top of. You gotta mix this and this together. Oh, okay. Put it in your mouth and then inhale as you light it. You have to buy. I can do that. You have to walk through the store to see if it's open and bring your ID with you and $10 and ask for Camel, the short ones, and then walk back to the house and then open the wrap. Motherfucker, I know how to smoke. All right, just let let me skip fast forward. Okay, now the guys, whew, and then they're going to tell you, well, in 3 minutes, what the smoke's going to do to your body, your brain, and everything else. What I'm saying is, if I have a problem, I can look at it, and this I'm looking at this car, and then I got to redo the thing. I don't have to take the intake manifold. I didn't know. I'm learning. I said, "Oh no, I got a impact gun for 269 at Harbor Freight. I got an extra air hose. I got three 25-foot air hoses, all the connectors. Motherfucker, I started on this shit 20 years ago with with the air hoses. I bought a nice new one there, and look at it. I got an old air compressor. My dad's shit takes time. Oh, I make it look easy now. So, oh, shit. You're learning. You got to learn how to do that. I'm taking off the bolt. Boom, it come right off. Fucking beautiful. That's some fucking work. But it's also exercise. So I can't get in. I got to take something else off. I can't get the impact gun. And then I said, well, walk back inside, get your breaker bar, $30, and the fuck 3/4 inch bolt. Yeah, fuck. Walk inside, go get your pipe, cheater pipe. Much easier. Oh, okay. Put the hose back in the thing. Done. I did part of it because I started straining my muscles because I haven't used these muscles because I've been out driving. This is it's a whole set of different muscles. Anyhow, little by little, and I said, remember when you first got this Cadillac? I was in L.A. and in San Diego. Motherfucker, I was up in Oregon. I was doing 95 miles an hour with this children's protective bullshit. I was looking last night. This kid, 5 years old, broke my heart, man. It's over there outside Cincinnati there, about 70. Mother drove him, threw him out of the car. It's pouring rain, freezing. This black guy come up, picked him up, and said, what? There's a little kid over there. We got him in the car, called the police. And I was looking at it, and I says, I had a young lady friend over there outside Cincy. It's all drugs, man. The girl's 32, Heather Nicole Atkins. Break my heart. Cute little fucking kid. Where's the husband? Where's the father? I want to hurt that woman. You got to take yourself out of yourself. Hold on to your emotion. They put the kid in foster care. Now, let me take it from there. I know that drill. I don't have to think about it more than 5 or 10 seconds. The girl's on drugs, man. Number one. I thought Trump was trying to get rid of the drug. Oh yeah, but he's got funny hair and he's old and he's a Republican. Mother of Jesus, can't you see? You need to take yourself out and go to that next higher level. And it don't matter, get rid of the drugs. Have to stand up to China. It's coming from China. They sent it to Mexico. It's like the Kennedy assassination, only on a bigger plot. They're not trying to kill Kennedy. They're trying to kill our youth, our American youth. So if you're a dad, a mom, a grandma, an uncle, cousin, think about this shit. I never voted in my life, to be honest with you. I don't give a fuck because I see it for what it is. But when they're talking about what can we do, and I listen to the law is, see, you got too many laws. We're going back to the lawyers. You started back in 75. Coincidentally, when the drugs started come after Vietnam. So I come back to El Paso. I'm at an AA meeting. This girl's a stripper over there on the west side, tells me the lawyers, there's all lawyers come in there after work. Oh, they're buying and selling coke like nobody. What? My nephew's a lawyer, but he's a goody two shoes. I gotta respect him. They come in, the FBI come in. I was here about 6 months, man. They come into El Paso busting lawyers and judges all over the place. I said, what the fuck is going on here? That wasn't when I left. There wasn't no bullshit like that. Now, I look at the Kennedy assassination and the way they talk and do. Police and everybody else, authority figures, they're all corrupt. Not all of them. Not all of them. There's definitely corruption there. You can have a suit on and your hair parted like that, short hair or whatever. Didn't have all that bald-headed shit. LBJ, all the way to president. J. Edgar Hoover. The mob, Chicago, New Orleans, the Kennedys. Jack Kennedy, John Kennedy, and Bobby Kennedy, they're the straightest, we used to call them straight. They were the straightest looking motherfuckers I ever seen. And my dad, that's the only time in his life he ever, this Kennedy guy, I guess he was smart. With Jackie Kennedy, the youngest president ever back then. She's beautiful. The young had the kid. But the father, that's what I say, it's like every other generation. Joseph Kennedy was a bootlegger. Wait a minute, my dad hated crime and corruption, but so how can you? Okay, we got more information, access to more information. So let's see. You can see right through it. You can see I'm out of fuel here. Anyhow, and you got to look at the big picture. I don't have a one word solution. I'm watching Biden. He was at a prayer breakfast. This black dude come on, gave a sermon like a motherfucker, man, bring tears to your eyes. And Biden gets up there, and I said, he's having a prayer breakfast. Same they're praying over Trump. Same thing. We need God, my sister. Don't ever forget God's in charge. I pray. God help the world situation. You in charge of it. I gotta let go, man. I'll start killing people, man. Just go berserk, just get a Uzi and hand grenades. That's bullshit. You don't want to do that. And you shouldn't have to do that. You can't take the law into your own hands. I learned that. Now, I was going to make a comment to these truckers in Ottawa. It says, you can see inside, they're out there. That motherfucker's in a hot tub, the barbecue. They got money. A little 30, 50 degrees. I don't want to. Anyway, God bless them. Now, you go into the House of Parliament, these motherfuckers are like, oh, so I started doing a little research and looking at them. We have accidents. They ain't playing, man. I've dealt with the police, man. These motherfuckers ain't playing. Now, the police on the ground is following orders. They're talking about they're losing a bridge traffic when they were at Coots over the Ambassador Bridge. What, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? They cost the American General Motors and Ford with the car parts. It was a $100,000 loss, $100 million loss or something. And they give you a tally. And well, these guys are suit and tie guys, pen and paper. They're not looking at singing "Old Canada" and waving a flag and throwing snowballs. They're like Illuminati. The British Parliament from way back. I said, now how the fuck Trudeau's we will tow the vehicles. I said, motherfucker, they ain't no they tried that the first couple of days. Trucks refused because they're truckers also. And I said, oh, here we go. My dad used to say, do they need you or do you need them? You need them more than they need you. Now, I've crawled up out of the gutter just a little bit. Now I can start to see. Well, what I see in America, the Canadians usually they're tough, but in this country, I don't like what I see. A bunch of weak. Maybe they're learned in school how to real quick with that smartphone and the computer. But up here, experience-wise, oh well, they're going to have automatic trucks. I got an automatic. You're missing the point. That's nice here. I'll pat you on the back. Let's go have a cup of coffee. It's $2. Do you have $2, motherfucker? Oh, you got. Oh, you got a $500,000 house in California. Okay, what am I supposed to do with it? If I have to explain this, then you don't understand what I'm saying either. You got to have, it costs money to keep the business going. Part of it, the government gives you $75 expense every day to eat, and guess you could take your friend with you or something. I watch and I observe. Don't make judgments because this bum up in Oregon's pushing a shopping cart with the soda can. That motherfucker had $1 million in the bank. He died, He's doing what he wants. How he got there, I don't know. But I say he's a cheap bastard and he done. Well, the overriding theme that keeps coming up all this shit I've seen is people don't trust the government. Don't trust the government. It's the elites It's the elites, people. They lost sight. They forgot where they come from. The money went to their head. That's an old saying. Don't let money go to your head. Why do these politicians believe it's their right to be a Joe Biden? Well, I've been in Congress. I've been in Congress 47 years. Yeah, after 25 years, Joe, why don't you go do something else, you mother? Oh, I know. Because $175,000 ain't enough. Do the research on this. Look up Joe Biden crime family. Look up Clinton Cash, Bill Clinton. $1 million a week in coke. LBJ, Kennedy, motherfuckers got millions. Why would you want a George Bush crime family? Why would you want a Hillary Clinton? You see all the shit she got her tentacles. They're doing deals with the Saudis. Bin Laden, he got 25 million as an inheritance when his dad died. 25 million, motherfucker! I don't know anybody taking pictures with him and all this shit. Oh, fucking Barack Obama got the Muslim Brotherhood coming into the. It made a law that they don't have to write down who comes in and out of the White House. Why would an American patriot have the Muslim Brotherhood, Death to America, coming through the White? You start connecting the dots, you start to see what's really going on. Okay. You got all these questions. Google it, look on YouTube, hit your browser, and you're going to see a lot of stuff. Okay, so look at five videos on Obama and the corruption or whatever. And then look at 2 or 3 of them. And then start seeing this one said this and this and the other. And then the second one said this and this and the other. And then the third one. Okay, so what's the common? What's the word? What's the description? What's the, how do they describe the way they think and this, that, and the other and what they're trying to do? What it keeps coming up. This thing keeps coming up again and again. And also over here. So if you got 3 different people saying the same thing, this probably is true. There's something else over here. Blah, blah, blah. This one said this. The other one said, nah, it wasn't that. And the other one, nah, it wasn't that. Okay. Forget about that one then. But this, let's look into this a little more. And that's how you find, like a detective. But it's just so overwhelming. You don't know where to start. Like I said, looking back to the Rothschilds, the central banking in Europe, George Soros. I was looking at Vladimir Putin, the lifestyle, how he started, this, that, and the other. Motherfucker got a yacht, fucking race car, a couple other cars, lives in a castle. Same thing. Why would somebody? The Playboy Mansion's wide open. Why don't you go buy that motherfucker and start up the Playboy Club again? That's what I'd do. I'm a guy, but it takes money. You got that lifestyle. I'll be on the south of France. Forget about it. I was there when I was young, man. Forget about it. Every night, the eyes wide shut, whatever, they're dancing with the costume. The girls got the thing on there. And they go into the bedroom, bada bing, bada bing. You know, uh, it's the elite. Charles, Prince Charles, and Prince Harry broke away from that shit. I think he's seen the light a little bit. Now, him and Merkel are complaining about how rough they got it. Yeah, okay. Princess Diana, Jacqueline Onassis Kennedy, she went out with a Greek billionaire. I read his story when there was a revolution over there. They grabbed his son, this faggot, this queer soldier, captain or something. He liked the Onassis young, he was 13 or 14. He want to fuck the guy, the kid. So the guy says to the father, if you don't let me have him, I'm going to kill him. So he said, we'll take the boy, you know. So he got away from that and after a while, and then came to New York, got in with a shipping business. Next thing you know, he's a billionaire, you know. So the guy paid his dues, you know, poor guy, fucking. It's a fucked up world, but that's the thing too. See, I do. There's a J. Paul Getty. He's got a museum in over there by Malibu with all this art. Richest guy in the world back in 70, 71. So the kids over there and the grandsons over there in Italy, and the mafia finds out, kidnaps him. They want holding him for ransom. Probably asking 5 or 10 millions back in the 70s. J. Paul Getty, there was a mail strike, so they didn't get J. Paul Getty didn't get the letter or the telegram or whatever. 2 or 3 weeks. In the meantime, they cut his ear off, send it in a box with a letter. You know, we want 5 million, 10 million, something like that. And J. Paul Getty, the grandfather, they asked him, why don't you send the money? He says, I got 17 grandkids. If I pay a ransom for one, then they're going to come at me again. In other words, they're going to clean them out. That's a hell of a decision of your grandkids. But he'd rather have his money. So I would say the guy's a psycho or he's sick. Richest man in the world. Well, Putin, the fuck, motherfucker, you 60 years old. What the fuck what are you trying to prove? Or why are you Rodney King, man? Why can't we all just get along? The Russian people, I'm looking at these guys are in the supermarket in Russia. The guy's going through it, and this is organic. We don't buy the stuff at the small supermarket because it's all processed food and shit. His wife's pregnant a couple of months, and she's in love. They're in love. You speak in English, you can understand him. I says, well, oh, that's Russia. The young girl got a kid showing you the housing in Moscow. It's like low income housing over here. 6 stories. You got the kid, got to come up the stairs with a stroller. She says, well, can you help me pull up my daughter? Yeah, sure. Help you open the door. 3 more steps. She's got to struggle in an elevator. Kirk, there's no room. Quick, 3rd floor. She gets up there, and it's just a 1960, 1970, a sink, toilet, bedroom. Young girl's about 20, nice looking lady. Same thing. Where's the husband? See, the whole world's doing the same shit. They were rioting in Brussels with the truckers, Paris. Them motherfuckers like to fight over there. They're throwing tear gas back and forth at each other. Holland, them motherfucking kids fight over there, man. I'll tell you what. I know the batter. I was talking about the mob. I was over in Paris in 70, 71, 72. Hey, you know the Batter Minehouse gang? Huh? What? Batter Minehouse. I seen him on TV. I'm in New York a couple of years later. The leader died. They're at the funeral. Fucking police over there. I'm looking, this cop standing there. This guy come up, throw a flying kick, hit him right in the fucking head. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. I'm going to leave it right there with the emotional thing. But, and the one they call Carlos, I got a nephew named Carlos. The number one world terrorist back 70, 71, 72. You ever hear of this guy, Carlos? Nah, huh? The number one. Whoa. Never heard nothing after that. I don't know what the. But it's if you look at the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, DuPonts, these kind of people, a lot of them had the origins in Europe. You know, come to America, land of opportunity. Now they, bang! Now they fucking explode over here, filthy rich. Yeah, ever look at the Central Park and Central Park? What do you call it? Central Park South. You go look at them hotels where Marilyn Monroe used to stay in there. The Copacabana, Frank Sinatra used to have entertainment every night. It's all mob and whatnot. Marilyn Monroe had, when she was on top, she was renting the penthouse suite. Motherfucker, man. What the, you know, anything you want like that. The best champagne and you name it. Food, European. I worked at the time like an NBC building at Fox News there on the ground floor. I worked at the 48th floor, the Tower Suite restaurant. It was European, all European. The cooks and all that, the chefs, tablecloths, view. Got a view from the 48th. I'm from El Paso, Texas. You got a burrito stand, a taco stand, a liquor store, you know, pharmacia, whatever the fuck you say. Yeah. They got a donkey with a blanket on to give you a ride. You want to. I'm like, what the fuck? And they let me in, you know, checking a coat check. I was checking fucking women come in there with minks. I asked, is this a real, is this what kind of, oh, it's mink. You know, I mean, these were $5,000-$6,000 coats or better. You know, go up there and, you know. I went to get something to eat. I was the employee, and he says, "This fucking French guys, they got this attitude. Not the street French. The street French, I don't have no problem with. But I'm a chef from France. Yeah, fuck you. I'm starving, motherfuckers. Get something to eat. So, I love pastry, man. The guy's got a chocolate cake like you ain't ever seen, man. Well, you can have anything, you know. Well, nobody told me nothing. You know, can I get something to eat? You know, this. I go over this. I don't know. I reach for get some of this chocolate cake. I get a plate. Fucking here comes Frenchie with the hat and with the chef's hat. Hey, what the fuck, motherfucker? You know, he says you can't just take. You have to ask first. Well, I didn't know, motherfucker. You know what the fuck? Why don't you post a sign? I don't know. I'm from America. What do I fucking cocksucker? I don't know. Crazy world, yeah. Hey, let me wrap this up, man. I hope somebody gets something out of this. I'm just telling you like it is from, in my opinion. So, like a AA meeting, take what you need and leave the rest. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. That's just my opinion is based on my life experience, and I'm still learning, so I'm subject to change or correct. But don't start in with the semantics. It's not white. It's a shade of. I'm selling used cars in LA. I says, hey, this. I'm into paint colors. Says, hey, this. She's out of DC area. I said, man, look at that car over there. I said, that's a nice paint job, like purple and shit, metal flake or something. Bitch got to correct me, you know. Don't correct me, man. I can't stand that shit. She said, oh, that's fuchsia. You know, I'm going back to my ex. I got to stop that shit. Anyhow, I said, fuchsia. Well, I had to learn this. She's making a joke like I'm stupid or something. I don't know. I never heard that in my life. I think once after that I heard fuchsia. It's purple, man. But can't you understand? She's in Vegas now with her mother. It's like keep it simple. This is my turf over here. We're not in D.C. We're not in New York. She pulled a knife on me twice. I says, I'm going to tell you something once you calm down. I said, if you ever pull a fucking knife on me again, I said, one of us is going to the hospital and one of us is going to prison. You're not that quick. My buddy Tony from East New York, met him at the AA meeting, New York. Tony, he's 10 years younger. Mafia wannabe, whatever. Pulls a knife on, we fucking. I said, no, I know how to box, motherfucker. I said, come on with it. You know, whips out his knife. You're not listening, man. I was living on the Bowery and shit, and I hung out with blacks and Marine Corps veterans, Air Force veterans. These guys know combat. I tell you, hey, a guy come at you with a knife, man. Take your shirt off or something, wrap it around your arm. You know, try to take the knife away from the guy. You're gonna get cut. You know, but I says, here, hey, come on with it, motherfucker. You know, but he wasn't that quick. I got the drop on him. So there's that. And let me wrap up one more point that I was going to make. Like with the women in California, what I was telling them, I just come back from New York. I says, hey, you're an AA for drunk driving is what they get over. That's says, you got any felonies? Oh, no. They got fucking gun permit classes all over the fucking place. 50, $75 or something. And we could, you go learn how to shoot. Motherfucker, mom and dad got a $300,000-$400,000 house. Go buy you a fucking gun. You know. You're gonna wait till you get raped or beat up. Go buy a fucking gun. Protect yourself. I think that would solve a lot of problems. If you would watch the news and you're seeing this guy went to stab his lady, she whipped out a gun and blew his fucking head off. Hey, it gets to that fucking point. I think it's worse now, maybe. I know the Midwest and the trucker motherfuckers, they bought up more guns like when Trump was president. All man, buying guns like they ain't know them. Well, it's a Second Amendment. They want to take your guns. Nah, they need the guns. You want to defund the police, defund the police. Do away with the police department. I'm going to go get me a gun. Now, you want to break in the house? Come on with it. I ain't got nothing. God got my back, and I'm going to die with that. I've already made up my mind and accepted I got the felony. I got to write the New York Supreme Court judge and tell him why it'd be good to drop one felony and one misdemeanor, and then I can get a gun. But I don't want to say the reason I want to drop the felonies so I live in Texas now where I can get a gun. But it is, I don't feel safe walking the streets. And I don't know. I don't know. That's why I pray to God to, straighten everything out, because there's nothing better than to be able to walk down the street in America, not worried, and you got $100, $200, $1,000 in your pocket, $3,000 in your pocket. You don't need that. I got the debit card, but if I take out $200 and I'm walking back to the truck, I almost wish some young punk would try to rob me. But why are we doing that? Why are we even in this position? I think it's cleaned up a lot, but still, I don't want to be looking over my shoulder every 2 seconds. That's fucked. I want to be able to come in there, walk in a restaurant, get something nice to eat, throw the lady a couple dollars tip, pay for the thing, get my senior discount, and feel good. Another truck driver, sometimes they buy me something to eat, sometimes I pay for them. Get something to eat, man. We're working people. And that's all. You got some yo-yo. There's losses on drugs or drunk. The liquor store closed today. I don't want to be that Christian women's suffrage from the 20s or whatever. But I was looking at an old reel on YouTube. It says back in the 1920s or something, or the 1900s, they were moving out west to these towns, and the man's farming and the women are sewing shit and, stuff, teachers and all this shit. And there was a bunch of them, so the mining towns, and they got the bar and the liquor store and all that, and the guy gets drunk, just says something wrong to a woman, bang, here come a fight, the guy gets locked up, and after a while, I guess that was so prevalent, guy can't handle his liquor or some shit, whatever, and the women are protesting. So for me, I says, people knew that. They tell you in the Bible, a glass of wine with a meal, wine or beer, some alcohol and liquor. Well, it tells you, wine, and then it says, but that's good, that's healthy for you. But it says liquor, no good, you become a fool. The devil is in the bottle. They're doing it, so you're not doing right no more. I'm going to leave it right there. It's all it is. It's simple. You make the decision. So when you get drunk and stupid like I used to be, you're going to be in a fight. You're going to get locked up. A bunch of stuff, but I'm glad I quit drinking. Let's say God has blessed me. And getting back to the last point, I'll wrap it up. To do a rehab, and it's so expensive. But the way they're throwing millions and billions and trillions of dollars on, let's put a tree in the middle of a traffic intersection. You're going to spend $1 billion on that, putting 10 of them up in Montana to update the state or the city. That's fucking complete horseshit. You got people homeless. You see it all over the country. You got a problem that these people don't know or don't want to address it. I'm thinking I might tell these protesters, these trucker protests, I'm going to be out there probably another week or two, and tell them, hey, you know what? I bought me a nice pair of wingtips for $100, and let's go to the men's store. Some of these guys are big and heavy, but you see a makeover. You know, we're not elitist, but you know what? Put that shirt and that tie on, put a suit on, shiny shoes, and let's be 10,000 motherfuckers come up to the Washington Monument or whatever. Let's go, and not the January 6th rioters, but cleaned up, go to church on Sunday, truckers throughout our country, and that may make a bigger impact. I don't like getting dressed up no more, but like right now, I put some clean clothes on, took a shower, and I feel 1,000% better. I mean, good looking, but to dress up, I really have no life. But I thought, I might just for the fuck of it, like I used to when I was a kid, when my mother and father, uh, would go to church on Sunday. You put your Sunday best on. Me, I always start looking at the girls. I look good now, so I start gets me in trouble. But maybe I need to. I'm trying to get what type of woman is. They were saying what is okay. If you got the same, it's got to be the right one. And I have problems from childhood trauma and all that shit. I'm trying to work past that. So anyhow, just an idea. I kick it around out there. I don't know. I'm going to hit some of these old military, old truckers and say, well, what do you think about this? They're going to make a joke about it probably, but in the back of their mind, maybe in 5 or 10 years, if you don't, I may be here, I may not. But if there's rioting or protesting, uh, you need to see, and it's not going to hurt you one fucking bit, to clean up and let's see, the veterans got the uniform on or something. They look sharp. I think that make more of an impact. I don't care if you got 10,000 truckers. That doesn't, you know. And I got to be one of the dirtiest, filthiest motherfuckers out there. Don't like it, but it takes what it takes. Like I was working on my car right now, so don't wait to take a shower because you're gonna get. As I was raking the yard, all this dust and weeds, and throwing them out and picking up the garbage tomorrow. I said I need to get 4 or 5 piles of weeds and dry it out and shit. I don't feel like doing it, but I said wait first to take a shower, and then when I work, and I mean you got to get into this shit. But that's an idea. I don't know if it's going to work or not. It's such a crazy world anymore. But there's still the ones that are in control and power, and you see that on that Ottawa protest, all that police force and all the equipment. And they said they're issuing helmets. You know how much this shit costs in baton? You know how many fucking 1,800, about 2,000 officers. They got to be making 15, $20 an hour. You start adding all that shit up, man. And then here comes some equipment, and they had to come from other towns. It's a lot of power, a lot of money. The same way with this Putin, with all them tanks. David and Goliath. I was going to make a comment. Put some. I seen a salt truck. Put a couple of salt trucks on the border of Ukraine. It probably cost you I think it's 5 or 6 300 miles or something. So put salt down and melt the ice, because when the tanks, when the snow melts, it gets muddy. The tanks are going to get stuck. Go there with a couple of salt trucks about 20 foot wide, make a strip all along the Ukrainian border or wherever they think they're going to invade from. Not going to be all of them. You got 50 tanks over here. Go about 20 miles. Now you got satellites. If they start moving past that 20-mile area, put some more on there. Put salt and those flamethrowers. Melt the fucking ice. And the salt is going to melt in about 12 hours. Not even. 6 hours, 7 hours, something like that. And melt all that ice where it makes mud. It's got to be about, tank is about, probably about 30 feet. Something like that. So make it 30, 40 feet wide and do where the tanks are. You know where the tanks are. And do 5 miles or so. And then if you see them going around that, and then put some landmines. Blow up a tank. That'll stop. And that ain't going to be no $30 billion. Probably $500,000. You know. But what's behind it? You know, Putin wants a new race car, you know, $1 million race car. Does he want a bigger mansion, you know, $1 billion mansion? Like, fucking give it to them. Send the soldiers home. What the fuck, man? Oh, war makes money. The military-industrial complex. The same shit after Vietnam. Then as the stock market was down a little bit, they start a war. If they're not making that huge money from the interest rate, the Federal Reserve, they're all in together with it. It's a plan. How are we going to continue making that insane money? Well, we haven't had a war. We could start one here. Now they're going to throw a distraction over here in Russia, and China going to come over here into Taiwan. Now, I seen a thing where the guy says that we got missiles, some new missiles that, I don't know, said ain't nothing going to stop these missiles. So I'm looking at Biden. Why is he acting so cool, calm, and collected, or just walks off, or don't answer no questions? Walk softly and carry a big stick. The U.S., you know, they got the latest, but the politics of it is that we can't defend Ukraine as an independent. They're not part of NATO. It's after a while I get a headache. I says, you know what, fucking let God take care of this. You'll never end. But I just wanted to make some points about the money and the power. You got to look at that first. And these son of a bitches, man, I'm telling you, 72 years already, Russia's going to invade. And back in the 50s and the 60s, Russia had the nuclear warheads pointed at, I think, 12 major cities: New York, Chicago, San Francisco, LA, Miami. They brought them down to Cuba, where they could hit, I think, up to 40 major cities in the United States. That blew my mind. I was about 10 years old. 40 fucking cities. I says, I looked it up, you know, and El Paso's not, it was a small town back then. I says, fuck, they ain't going to hit El Paso. No, what are you going to get out of hitting El Paso? There's nothing here. But the idea of what these nuclear warheads could do and all that is to get rid of all that shit. This is berserk. Now, if they continue and the whole world gets together, just I guess you got to stage a revolution and overthrow the government, which is not easy because they got like the United States government. We started out with the atomic bomb, motherfucker. Fuck you up, man. So all they got to do to get it's already in place. They got to set up. All they got Biden or Camilla. They got the code. They were so worried about Trump and a nuclear code. It's 7 digits. It's your passcode. Aim it over here to Moscow. Hit the button. Give the signal. Hit the button. Brr. No more Moscow. What the fuck, man? That a lot of that's to scare the people because in the Kennedy assassination, and it was going to get Castro also. Why don't the CIA, the American CIA, the smart bombs where it pinpoints exactly where that person is and kills them and about 5 other people? Why don't you do that with the Korean dictator, Iran, Putin, and Chinese? I would get rid of these dictators. That would be a start. But you can't do that because why? Only they can fuck us over. I'm just trying to figure a way how to stand up. Either get what is the good? They have to take over America. I don't get that. Of course, I'm born and raised over here, lived here all my life. I don't want to take over Russia. Now they got ships. They're going up to the Arctic, Russia. Cargo ships. They got a new route on the ocean up by the Arctic. You can do business. Now these people are used to the cold. I ain't going up there, man. But they got trucks, trains, and ships. They're doing commerce. Work for your fucking money. They got the fucking money. But Putin, he's doing this, but you don't hear about it. I just happened to see it last night. Man, that's some shit. And they're buddy with China, and then they were doing trade with India. That's some, for the next 20, 30 years. They're going to be ahead of us. Now, I don't see why you got to force your kid to go to school and learn about gender and all this crap that they're too young to know the sex and all that shit. You need them just teach them basic math and reading and history. History. There's a history class they're going to teach civics now or government. Teach them and present all the facts in the research, and then let the kid decide on his own. If you decide that, oh no, I like Putin. I'm looking at Putin got some shit going on, but then too, I seen when he first started, and then now, like Khrushchev or Gorbachev. Yeah, I was looking at him a couple of weeks ago. Hey, he's a grandpa now. The guy's 80 years. They don't give a fuck no more. That's human nature. What is this race to space? U.S. Trump said we got the thing over here in New Mexico. They got this. What should do that? Use the physics and geometry and trigonometry and make a missile going to Mars or something. With the government money. We used to work with the Russians on the space station. What happened? We can't talk to you. Just here, boom, boom, boom. Here, I got a video conference with Putin or the Chinese or Kim Jong from Korea, and I put it on there with 6 or 8 different screens. Everybody from Europe. Hey, what's the problem here? Hey, Vladimir. Hey, Sheik. What the fuck? What's going on? What do you want? What do you need? We're going to kick it around. That's a bad idea, that Ukraine. Let's do something. Let's sit down and talk. I think they're going to talk in France, or they're agreeing with a French come out with something. Motherfucker, you're a man, ain't you? You're a total psycho. You want to kill the whole world. You got Brazil, Venezuela. What Americans ain't hurting nobody. That's the government against this other government, the principles, the ideology. But then they had an agreement in NATO. That's what I never paid attention to NATO since the '60s. They don't do shit. I don't think. Let's see. Maybe they're going to do it now. I don't know. And the Germans, they need to get the gas for the winter's almost over, but you know, we got here 100 year supply. Why don't we just all Biden got to do is say, let's start the production of gas right now. By next week, they're shipping it over to Germany. Motherfucker, we're gonna make money. Why'd you stop the oil pipeline, you asshole? Stop the Mexican border over here. 1, 2, 3. You sign a bill in Congress to take you 20 minutes. You do all three today, tomorrow. That's what Trump was doing every day. Boom, boom, boom. He's doing so awesome, motherfucker. So, the fuck is wrong with the Democrats, Biden and all this? If he does it, like the old man, like I said, I'm watching him because he's an old fox. I says, I hope and I pray. And he goes to breakfast, reciting the Bible and shit. You're pretending you're a good man. Are you just a hypocrite? Or God going to fuck you up? But you got everything at your disposal. Is nobody thinking, or it's agenda? They're going to shove this agenda up our ass. Fuck you. Go to hell. I don't know. You try and you try. I don't try that hard because God's in charge. It's easier to pray to God because we can only see so far. We can only figure out stuff to a degree. So, like you say, we could put it all on like the Last Supper. Have a nice banquet, everybody getting along, and then when it's time, they stab him in the back. Yeah, that was a great dinner and drinking some wine. Yeah, hey, you know what, man? Good friends, Hey, bam, 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 bam. That's real life, reality. So, what can you do? What can you do? So, okay, well, I hope this helps somebody. I don't know. Okay, everybody bless and have a nice evening. Have a good week. All right, see you again.